Hey, Coach Abel here with Coach Weiss, the Abel Body Experts, and I don't know what part we're on. We're just exploring Kevin's vast knowledge here as he's ripped through some powerlifting meets recently and now qualified for the Worlds. And one thing I gotta laugh at, Coach, is that we get attacked often on YouTube for the stuff we're trying to help people with.
Yeah.
And of course we don't know anything, but here you are 3 for 3 in your powerlifting endeavors and off to the World Championships, and I don't know how many national titles you have in bodybuilding and how many pro card federations you have in that too. But I want to get, basically what I'm getting at is I know people, and you know who I'm talking about back east, who claim to be experts in this or that, and you know they've maybe gone in a couple powerlifting meets and they finish dead last, but they're writing for magazines on how to be a powerlifter. So for me, I have a lot of respect for that. Talking it's one thing, walking it's the other, so I just had to get that in. But we were exploring your set and rep schemes, and we were starting to talk about rest times. Now, rest times are longer when you're trying to keep your weights up.
Yeah.
But does that mean strolling around in the gym talking to all the pretty girls, or what does that mean?
No, the biggest thing is, and I think I'm assuming a lot of the guys that are at high levels in the strength development group, I'm assuming would agree with this, is you actually spend more time mentally preparing for the lift than you actually spend lifting. So when you're not doing the lift, you're not cruising around and checking out the chick doing stiff leg deadlifts. You're actually getting ready and let's call it a mental rehearsal of the lift.
So triangle of awareness.
Spend
physical, mental, physical.
There's
emotional.
The more weight that you're handling on a regular basis like that, like nobody lifts really heavy weights with terrible technique.
Right.
Not in a competition style, anyways. Like you might see someone do a partial lift with real horrible technique, but
what you're saying now, I want to differentiate this for the viewers, is you're differentiating between concentrating and thinking.
yeah,
There's a difference there.
essentially when you strength training, I would like to call it more practice than hypertrophy training, which is what I consider training.
Right.
When I go to train for strength, I consider it's like I'm going to practice. I'm practicing that lift so that your technique gets grooved to a point that when you actually do have max weight on your back, max weight in your hands, you're not thinking about what your technique needs to be. Your body knows that technique, it knows that groove, and you carry it out.
And there's tons of studies on athletes that show that athletes during high performance, when the demands are the most, are actually thinking less than amateurs.
Yeah, and this might go off on a little bit off of what we were talking about, but I just quickly want to mention about people that talk about sport-specific training and thinking that they're going to improve their sports skill by doing whatever type of training, standing on one leg or whatever,
Right.
where it really has very little to do with their actual sport skill.
Right.
It doesn't improve your sports skill. You can improve your conditioning all you want, but that doesn't transfer over to more skill.
Only practicing that skill.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that. Perfect practice makes perfect, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Not
So
practice makes perfect.
that's a little bit off topic, but
That's
it's
all right.
worth mentioning anyways.
I want to segue and move into diet and supplements for this for these 3 meets that you had, because we were kind of having a chuckle about this, given what's come on the internet recently about everyone's secrets. So we'll take that up in the next segment.